Aha. Hello, everyone. I'm Fozzie, or Cam, and welcome to a live episode of the Everything Podcast. Yeah, wow. Today we're going to be doing the same thing as we usually do, movies, music, all that awesome stuff. And yeah, let's get started. So, hello, Todd Dakuda. Nice to have you in chat.
Yeah, thanks to everybody tuning in. I can't think of the last time that we went live, Cam. So I'm very excited to be doing this again, and obviously thanks to everybody who's tuning in.
Of course. So yeah, the first thing I'd like to talk to you guys about today, to you, Will, about today, is the Super Bowl. I mean, we haven't talked about it yet on the podcast. Todd Dakuda says, "Help, hello."
Can you not hear us, Todd, or something? I'm trying to depict what that message could mean, but I just want to make sure everybody can hear us here, obviously, Cam.
Yeah. Is the volume okay?
I can't either.
Interesting. Let's see.
Message could mean.
No.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
It's running smoothly. Yeah. Well, we're running smoothly, and that's interesting. I'm not sure why that's happening. You know what? We're gonna wait a minute to see if everyone can get on. We're gonna make sure everyone can get on. Try to enjoy the podcast to the fullest. So we're just gonna take a second, maybe just chat a little bit, and then we will dive into our usual topics.
Yeah, for sure. How is
boy.
Oh god. What's up? I don't have my glasses. I'm winging it.
Oh boy. Now I understand. Now I understand. I understand now.
I can't see anything. Sorry about that, Todd.
That's too bad.
Yeah.
All right, but like I said, we're gonna wait just a few minutes to get this get this podcast started. Gonna make sure everyone has time to join, because this is a little bit abrupt. We only had a 15-minute time for people to join.
Yeah.
So we're just gonna chit chat a little bit, and while we're waiting, I just want to talk about what shows, what movies are you excited for this year? Like what are you really excited for?
Well, for me, nothing, Cam. For me, after the two, in my mind, A+ trailers they have dropped, nothing for me right now tops my excitement for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Let me just put it to you this way. I was so excited for Spider-Man No Way Home. Bouncing out of my seat excited. I never expected to, at some point not too far away from the movie, have that kind of excitement start to percolate again, but it is here.
I'm gonna be honest with you.
Trailers.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I'm more excited for Doctor Strange than I was for Multiverse of Madness, and I was so excited for Multiverse of Madness. I mean, No Way Home, and Doctor Strange is by far one of my favorite superheroes. In fact, I have a few of his comic books right next to me, and I'm so excited for this movie. And I feel like his first movie just wasn't great. It wasn't very good. But I'm so excited for this film.
Yeah, actually, let me. Yeah, I am basically as excited for this movie as I was for Spider-Man No Way Home. But let me just say this loud and clear. I believe that this movie will be as good as Spider-Man No Way Home. With those 2 trailers that dropped, Cam, I don't see any way that it can't be. At the minimum, just a little bit under how good No Way Home was. But I think this will be as good as Spider-Man No Way Home.
And I see Todd in the chat. He said, Father Stew, new movie with Mark Wahlberg. Yes, I heard about that. I watched the trailer for it, and I gotta say, I don't think it looks very good. I don't love Mark Wahlberg, and I just saw Uncharted, which had him in it, and it wasn't very good.
I have read some things about it, Cam, and read reviews that weren't great. Like I saw the trailer for it before I saw Eternals and No Way Home in the theater, and when I saw the trailer, I was actually thinking, ooh, this looks good. But now I'm hearing about how all of the reviews aren't great, so I don't have anything that makes me say, oh, let me go and see this film. And, that's coming from me, who's a, Tom Holland fan.
Well, if you didn't know, Uncharted is based off a video game. And,
I did know that, yeah, I did.
Usually video game movies are just not very good or very popular. And, well, they're usually popular. Like Mortal Kombat, if you know, that's a super popular game. And the movies were popular, but they're not very good. And I think that just kind of, Uncharted is definitely a higher level than Mortal Kombat movies were, but it still isn't really a good film. It was kind of a bland adventure movie that I just did not enjoy.
Yeah, and by the way,
Todd DeCudo puts a good point in the chat. Don't believe everything you hear. That's totally true, especially when it comes to reviews. You can't always believe everything you hear. And I think that was the biggest thing with the Eternals movie. I think a lot of people didn't go see it because of the reviews, and that's something you just can't do. If you want to truly say that's a bad movie or think it's a bad movie, you have to go see it. You just can't believe with all those people on Rotten Tomatoes or IMDb. You just can't believe it because it doesn't. It's not always true, and it all depends on what kind of movie you like to watch. So I would definitely not recommend just not watching it and just believing that it's a bad movie. That's not a thing I recommend.
Yeah, and for me, recently, Cam, I was gonna watch the amazing Spider-Man films before I went to see No Way Home, but I was thinking, I've heard about how they're not that great, so I'm a little nervous seeing these because I don't think I've seen a bad Spider-Man yet, and maybe this could turn the tide. But no, I thought they were good films, so that, Cam, for me, along with the Eternals, was my most recent example of, seeing not great reviews about films, but watching them and saying, oh, wow, this is actually a very good movie.
Yeah, and I will say, I think we said it before, but I just can't stress this enough. The Amazing Spider-Man movies are they're not bad. I mean, the first one's good. The first one's like a good movie,
I actually think the first one's great, and it would be adored if Spider-Man 1 hadn't already come out. I just want to say that.
But I feel like Amazing Spider-Man 2 just tried to do too much. Just tried to set up too much, and, it didn't really work out, and unfortunately, I think that's just why we're not seeing Andrew Garfield right now play Spider-Man, and I think it's just because of that movie. Yeah. And it might have been a good thing that it did bad, because maybe without the failure of Amazing Spider-Man 2, maybe without that failure, maybe we wouldn't get Tom Holland,
And Tom Holland has done a fantastic job, obviously, playing Spider-Man. Matthew Navin here in the comments says Tom Holland is the best, and
I totally agree.
I'm a big fan of him. He's great. Like the Amazing Spider-Man 2 can like I still enjoyed it very much, but at the same time, I don't disagree with you that it does have its issues. There's a lot of, characters and storylines going on in it, much like Spider-Man 3. That's maybe a bit too much, but it also just went a bit too long at the end. So for me, that was kind of flawed film, but I was still able to sit down and have fun seeing it because it was a Spider-Man.
And one of the things that I thought was really good in that movie was the visual effects.
Fantastic!
I think the visual effects in that movie with Electro, it definitely holds up today. It's above the standards of today. It's so good. And for a film that came out in 2014, that's pretty good. And it's still better CGI than a lot of DC movies today. Like, take Aquaman, for example. I don't think that movie looks good. I think it looks cheesy and fake. But I totally think that Amazing Spider-Man 2 visual effects are better than that, and they just look cooler,
The Amazing Spider-Man 2 Cam was like the first MCU or Marvel Sony film that I sat down, watched, and really, really, really thought, and not that I didn't think this was like Avengers Endgame, but like when I watched Electro and Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man fight at the end of that film and seeing those visuals that you are talking about, I was just like, oh my gosh, this would have looked so great on the big screen.
Yeah, I bet it did. And I've heard a lot of people, a lot of other movie reviewers on YouTube say that they saw this film in theaters, and they actually said that same exact thing. That it was such a great movie theater experience, but they just noticed they started to notice all the bad things in the movie when they took the movie home and actually watched it in not a movie theater environment, which is actually very interesting because I feel like that's what going to see movies in the movie theaters do. Because like you go to see. I'll take The Last Jedi, for example. A movie I saw in theaters, and immediately after watching that movie in theaters, I was like, yes, this is the best movie. This is the best Star Wars movie. It's so good.
It is. Let me just say here, this is going to shock folks, but it is my favorite Star Wars film. But you're going to hate that
right
comment.
now. I can't even talk.
Go ahead. Go. Well, I just want you to argue against why the Luke Kylo Ren fight at the end of that isn't an iconic Star Wars fight.
It's barely even a fight.
Luke is awesome. It's such a kick-ass Luke moment. Just go ahead.
But anyway, like I was saying, I saw that movie in theaters, and I said it was my favorite Star Wars movie. And upon rewatching it several times, it's not a very good film. I don't like it really. It's actually one of my least, if not my least favorite Star Wars movie ever.
Wow.
I don't enjoy watching it, And maybe that's not a popular opinion, but
I don't think it's a non-popular opinion because I've read stuff about how the Star Wars sequels weren't received well, but I just have a very different opinion. Matthew Navin, when will we go to sports? And Stephen Freight says, Cam, have an open mind.
Oh, please. Okay. Oh, please.
Really quick, and we will switch to sport. We'll switch to sports in a second, and we are going to discuss the Super Bowl halftime show as well. But I just want to go up to a couple comments. Somebody asked, which I think it was Matthew. He said, I think it was him who asked. Yes, he said, Cam and Will, what Spider-Man movie do you think is the best? And I have to go with No Way Home, and I don't even really think about it, I'll be honest.
Yeah. So No Way Home took all of my favorite parts from every single Spider-Man movie and just combined it all. So yeah, I'm also gonna have to say Spider-Man No Way Home. Second place, I'd go with Spider-Man 1, Tobey Maguire. But
Yeah, second place I would go with Spider-Man 2 for me.
yeah,
That one
that's what
that
a
one
lot of people
stuck out.
say. But all right, so let's see, sports. So how'd you
I
feel? How'd you feel about the Super Bowl, Will?
I thought it was a good to very good game. Like there were so many great games in this postseason that it wasn't quite able to top some other ones. Like there was like Chiefs Bills that was amazing,
Oh, of course, of course.
or Bengals Chiefs. So not as great as some other games, but it was still very good. And I just looked at it at the end of the day as the Rams doing what they were supposed to do, which was win the Super Bowl with that talent and literally throwing away their future.
Yeah, man. And I think we actually predicted that the Rams would do good this season. I'm not quite sure if we predicted they'd go to the Super Bowl, but I know we predicted that they'd be a winning team this year.
Yeah, well, I thought, yeah, as you're saying, that they could be a winning team and go on a very nice, playoff run, and that's what they did, and they obviously ended up winning the Super Bowl. And there were some comments earlier from Todd that you will love and I won't love, but he was saying, I believe that he said best part of the Super Bowl was Brady wasn't in it.
Well,
So
I've said this before. I respect Tom Brady. He still aggravates me, and I'm impressed by what he's done in his career. But he still makes me really mad, and I think it was actually cool to see him not in the Super Bowl, and it was cool to see some new faces.
sure, but I mean, at the same time, I just think Patriots fans have to just have to think about that. He was with the team for 2 decades, got them
And then
six.
he just decided to quit because
No. Know what? You on this podcast before have said that you thought he wasn't like doing things with receivers in his final season. Where is there evidence of that? Where is there evidence?
they didn't win. They were not a winning team.
So
Is that not evidence enough? I mean, they weren't a winning team. If Tom Brady had worked with his receivers, if he had worked with his team, they'd have better chemistry, and they would have won more games.
So you
And
honestly
he wouldn't do it, and Bill Belichick got mad at him for it, so he decided to head out. I mean, come on.
no. No. That is a reflection. Those were not great receivers that season, but you're saying that because their receivers weren't great, that automatically says that Tom Brady wasn't putting in work with them. No, it was clear that they were moving on from him, and I just think it was a collective just time to move on. And I don't think Tom Brady, and I'm not trying to make the Patriots out as the bad guy, but Tom Brady certainly wasn't the bad guy in that departure.
There's only one way he can redeem himself, and sure, this might sound a little bit cheesy. The only way he can redeem himself in my eyes is if he signs a contract with the Patriots for one day and retires in New England.
So, yeah, listen, I've shared my opinions, but I mean, I just think I can understand being hurt by him leaving Cam. I really, really can, but I just, sheesh, this guy was with him for 2 decades, brought so much winning to Pats fans. I just can't do what you're doing.
Yeah, well, back to the Super Bowl. I thought Matthew Stafford was great, and I think I've said this before, but it just shows how coaching really affects the player. In that, on the Lions, Matthew Stafford was not a very. The Lions weren't a very good team, and we all kind of thought Matthew Stafford was just like an average quarterback. But then when we go to Sean McVay's Rams, it shows actually he was a good quarterback the whole time. And when Goff goes to the Lions, we're shown that he's not a very good quarterback. Or it could just be that the Lions are not a very good coaching team altogether. But it kind of just shows how coaching really matters.
Yeah. Well, I did hear talk and even throughout the postseason about how some folks didn't trust Stafford in certain situations, and I there were some times where I would think he maybe could have been better there and stuff, but at the end of the day he made clutch plays for them in many games, had the game-winning pass to Cup in the divisional round against the Bucs, led them back from being down in the NFC Championship game, and then obviously led them on a very clutch drive to win the Super Bowl as well. So he has made his mark as a good starting quarterback in the NFL that you can win a Super Bowl with.
Why don't we look at Steve Freight's comment there, Will? How do you feel about that?
What do you say? Oh, Steve Freight says no thanks to the one-day contract and maybe dump the wife. Wait, dump Tom Brady's. Oh, look,
I want some context behind this. Why do you think that should happen?
Yeah,
I need to know. I mean,
yes, yeah. Well,
I understand with Patrick Mahomes' girlfriend, she's like the worst person in the world. Have you heard anything about her, Will?
I have not looked into that, but I trust what you've said. But well, for me, I mean, folks, I think by now know. I mean, I don't care if Tom Brady signs a one-day contract with the Pats or he doesn't. My love for him will not change. But I just want to hear more from Steve Freights about the dump the wife comment.
I'm confused about that. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah, maybe he's typing up a very long and thoughtful response right now.
I bet.
But
well, after this, by the way, guys, we're gonna give our thoughts on the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah.
But right now, oh, here. That sounds like John Lennon's wife.
Well, because he still wants to play and his wife wants. Well, I mean, if I were a sporting athlete's wife, I wouldn't like watching them take hits on the field and stuff. And Stephen Freights, I think we have to remember, Tom Brady's aging as well, and Giselle probably doesn't want him to sustain some injury that could have a big, impact on him down the long run. So I think that he retired and he was happy with the decision. And I just think his wife has every right to not want to see him get hit anymore. I would not like seeing my husband get hit if I was the wife of an NFL player.
Yeah, but it can't get to, that's almost like saying, I want you to quit your job because you're working too hard. I mean,
Jason.
Laurie David has a good point right there.
Happy wife, happy life. Yeah. Yeah, but I think all is well, and I think all is well in the Brady family now.
Really, what right do we have to know this? I mean, we shouldn't be knowing his personal life. I mean,
yes, that's very, very true.
That's one of the biggest things I have with celebrities. I feel like we shouldn't know what they do in their life. It's none of our business.
Yeah, and let's say a celebrity goes through like a divorce or something. It's not
Yeah,
like
they don't want to be followed around
it's
with
yeah,
cameras and
it's
stuff, you
not
know?
like we should learn all these details about that. We should let them live their own, private life.
Yeah. All right, so I want to talk about the halftime show with you, Will. How do you feel about it, you know? How do you feel? What are
Let
your thoughts?
let me first say before I go into details about how I felt about it. Obviously, so happy that it happened. It was long overdue. That was needed, and I am happy that it happened. That's number one, first and foremost. And second of all, I thought it was a pretty good halftime show overall, Cam. Like there wasn't, anything to make me not, make that statement. What did you think about it?
Yeah, I really like the halftime show. I thought literally every single person was great in it. Um, I like Kendrick Lamar. I have a question for you. Will. Who did you like? Who did you like the most in the halftime show?
I could go lots of different ways. How about you? I think you're the best one to answer this. How about you?
I'd probably go with um I liked Kendrick Lamar a lot, and
Yeah,
I know he's for the younger generation and a lot of the like the Dr. Dre era people might
yeah.
not know who he is. But I'm gonna be honest. I think he's the modern Dr. Dre. I think
Mm.
he is the modern Snoop Dogg, the modern Dr. Dre, and I think he's definitely up there. I think he's one of the best rappers right now, and I was impressed with his performance. It was creative. It was artsy.
Yeah,
I liked it.
yeah. Well, Stephen Freights has a couple comments. He said Auntie Jan loved it and pretty good. It was great. And Jason says,
Oh my gosh! All right,
Mary J
explain
was
yourself.
awful.
Explain yourself. I want reasons. Why?
Yeah, there was
Why?
not.
Why?
Yeah, there was no one up there, Cam, that I thought fit under the category of bad.
No one was bad in that halftime show. Like, I need reasons. Like, why was she bad? Her her vocals were good. Her performance was good. Like, give me a reason.
Yeah. Mama Jen says Snoop is a comment we
Oh,
have here from Mary J's
there we
voice
go.
was great.
Yes.
It was her job to slow things
Yeah, it
down.
was a nice
Stephen
change of
Freights.
pace. That's a good point.
Yeah, yeah. All right, but
Oh yeah. So I think I don't I think Eminem did really good as well. You know, I I
yeah,
last time I saw him perform, I think it was at some award show. I think it was like the Grammys, and he was very out of shape. He was
mm.
fat. I hate to say it,
Oh
but
wow,
he was. And to see him come back and do a really good performance like this, it's pretty cool. And I've heard he only has one more album that he's gonna come out with, and
all
he's
right.
gonna be done. Which it's sad, but I mean, he deserves a nice retirement. You know, even though he's like 46 years old. I mean, he deserves it. He's worked hard his life. You know. And
Yeah, yeah. And then reading Stephen Freight's added to his comment, but I'll read it in full. Mary J's voice was great. It was her job to slow things down so that Eminem could pick it back up.
yeah, and I still haven't heard I haven't heard a response from Jason yet.
Jason?
Jason.
Yeah. Well, like I said with Stephen Freight's earlier, maybe he quietly took a knee, says
Yes, I
Stephen
saw that,
Freight's.
and the NFL told him he wasn't allowed to do that, and he did it anyway, and that just shows how what a guy Eminem is. You know, he's just a rebel. You know.
Yeah. But as I said earlier with Stephen Freight's, maybe Jason is, taking his time to write out a very thoughtful response, Cam.
I doubt it.
I mean that in kind of a funny, sarcastic
Oh,
way.
of course, of course. So, a movie I'd like to talk about today. Yeah, we're talking about movies again. Sorry, guys, if you don't want to hear about movies, well, that's too bad because we're on the Everything podcast. I hate to be harsh.
And we do talk about pretty much quote unquote everything.
And at the end of this episode, at the end of our little movie segment here, um, we'll just talk to you guys. We'll talk to chat, you know. But what I'd like to say right now is today I watched Free Guy for the first time, and I know a lot of people have. Oh, 50 Cent. Yep, we forgot to mention 50 Cent. Well, we forgot to mention 50 Cent.
Yep. Well, as I said, I didn't think anybody was bad in that halftime show.
Yeah, he was great, and he wasn't even supposed to be in it, and I was impressed, you know.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, your thoughts on Free Guy.
Yes, Free Guy. So that movie came out quite a few months ago. I think like 5 months ago, actually. And
Yeah,
I heard
yeah.
it. I heard it was going to be released on Disney Plus, but then it kept getting pushed back. And 2 days ago, it released on Disney Plus, and I watched it today, and it was fantastic. How about the NBA All-Star game, guys? Yeah, no, that game doesn't deserve to be talked about. It's barely even basketball.
And nothing against, and congrats to my guy Steph Curry on hitting 16 threes, but yes, the All-Star game does not count toward the actual standings, obviously.
Not at all. But anyway, where was I? Free Guy.
Free Guy.
So yeah, I thought it was a fun movie. I really like Ryan Reynolds like a lot. He is such a funny actor. And Will, or anyone who hasn't seen it, it was a popular movie, so I bet a lot of people have seen it. And I really liked it. It was a good movie.
Yeah.
It was funny, and it was very well made. The CGI was very well done, and the concept, if you didn't know, was this guy lives in a video game but doesn't know it, and then he finds out he lives in a video game, and that's just kind of the plot of the movie. And if you remember Korg from Thor Ragnarok, Will,
Yes, yeah.
the fella made of rocks, he is the main bad guy in this movie. His name
Wow.
is Taika Waititi, I believe. In real life, his name is.
Yeah, I think it might be Taika.
Yeah,
Waititi,
I probably
actually,
didn't pronounce it
yeah.
right. I'm sorry, I apologize.
He's good, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's really funny. And I'm pretty sure he directed this movie too, because I know he directed Thor Ragnarok, and he played Korg.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I can't be sure.
But yeah, I see here it says Rotten Tomatoes. It says 80% for this film, Cam.
Yeah, and if you look at the the audience there, it did pretty good for the audience.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's a 92 or 91.
Yeah, don't have the audience up quite right now, but yeah, no, I bet you're right. Yeah. But what grade would you give this film, Cam?
This movie, I'd give it a solid A-. Very funny
A-, all right.
Alright, so this is the point in the video where we will be we'll just be talking to the chat. And, so what do you guys have to say?
Yeah. While we wait for them, Cam, your thoughts, if you want, on the final episode of the Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, yes. I thought it was a little bit of a letdown. I didn't love that show. I thought it was kind of the perfectly mediocre, as I saw someone else say on YouTube. And I think the Mandalorian's appearance helped, but, you know, it wasn't anything too special, and it just wasn't very fun to watch, like Mando. And the biggest thing, I think, is they made Boba Fett a good guy. He's not the cool bounty hunter guy anymore. He's like a mayor now. Like, that's not what I wanted to see. And the action just isn't very good. It didn't do anything for me. But I'll say when Mando gets in the story, things pick up. And the final episode was basically just Mandalorian and Boba Fett. So
yeah. Well, when they brought the Mandalorian in, that is when I went from liking the show to loving the show for episodes like 5 and 6, the first two, which were, basically, full episodes of The Mandalorian. I thought the 7th episode was good, but it just didn't quite have the feel of the previous two to me. But overall, I enjoyed this show. I thought the best episodes and episodes that were great were episodes 2, 5, and 6, but I thought this was a good show, and a few episodes were, in my mind, amazing, and bringing the Mandalorian in was awesome. So this was a show that I enjoyed and I'd go in A-. And Stephen Freight says Auntie Jan loved how it tied into Mando, and yeah, that was awesome. And one thing the final episode did do well was set up The Mandalorian Season 3, where we're going to see more Grogu and Mando adventures. And Stephen Freights also says Boba is getting older. He's looking back at his life and reprioritizing. I don't think that's a bad comment. So, let me just ask this. I know he's like not the flashiest character, but I didn't think he was done badly. So what would you have done differently with him, Cam?
I would have made him kind of a cooler character. And in the older movies, in the first Star Wars movies, he's just like this cool warrior guy, and I didn't get that at all from this. And I would have liked to see better action, more action, and because that's what I expect when I hear Book of Boba Fett.
Okay.
But
all right. Yeah, well, so I thought
this is the time I want to hear stuff in the chat, guys.
Yeah,
I want to hear the chat. Let's go.
Yeah, no, and thanks again to everybody for obviously tuning into this episode. And yeah, we will wait, but trying to think what else we didn't cover here on this episode of the Everything Podcast. Yeah, and we will let our chat take it from here. And Matthew, if you want to give some takes about actually the All-Star Game, please feel free. I will listen to them in full.
That's a good point, Stephen Freights. It did make him less flashy, and I didn't like it. Oh, by the way, guys, sorry we haven't posted in like 12 days, I think it has, right, Will?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah. As we've said before, I think we're going to try to, get back on a more weekly basis, and we'll start more constantly, I'm sure, posting episodes of the Only Movie Show as well.
If you don't know, that's our little series on this YouTube channel where we just talk about movies.
Yeah.
But right now we're just taking requests from the chat. We're talking to the chat, and
thoughts on upcoming Disney Plus shows. Well, on the topic of Marvel and Star Wars, there's a lot this year. There's Obi-Wan coming up. There's Moon Knight
Ahsoka
coming up. Yes, for sure. So
Andor.
Those are for sure. But
Encanto. I'm glad she mentioned that.
Yeah, I saw that recently, and that was I thought the visuals in that film were, awesome.
And the music was so good. How did you feel about the music, Will?
Oh yeah, I have no arguments from me. It was awesome.
I feel We Don't Talk About Bruno is always ringing in my head at maximum volume.
Yeah,
in the best way possible.
Oh yeah,
it is such a good song, and it's not my personal favorite song. If you guys remember this song, it's called "Surface Pressure." I think it's the first song in the movie. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I don't remember any of the characters' names. There were a lot of characters.
Neither do I.
That might be its only flaw. There were quite a few characters. It was hard to think of all of them. I'm just gonna call her Strong Lady at the beginning of the movie. She has a great song called Surface Pressure, and that was probably my favorite song in the film.
Cool.
But yes, please give us more comments, questions. Yes.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, getting back to Stephen Frace's question, thoughts on upcoming Disney Plus shows. Cam, I know we're both very excited for Moon Knight coming out March 30th.
Yeah, I hear it's supposed to be like a psychological horror TV show in the most PG-13 way possible, but
yeah, well, if you enjoyed Poe in Star Wars, Oscar Isaac is obviously going to be the main character.
Unfortunately, I didn't enjoy Poe, but I do like Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
He's great in the movie Dune, and
Oh, cool.
I think he's just a good actor.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm very excited to see him in this, for sure. I mean, if there's one thing Marvel is doing well right now, they've been having a pretty damn good and successful kind of move into these new shows that they're putting out. In particular, Wanda Vision, which was just a creative, amazing
it was like
show.
my favorite. It was my favorite show of all time.
It was really well done, and Wanda is back, obviously, in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
I can't wait for Multiverse of Madness.
But
yeah, if the chat doesn't have anything left to say, then I think we can wrap up this episode, Will.
Yeah, that sounds good to me, Cam. Thanks again to everybody for tuning in, and if the chat, again, wants to leave anything else, they can. But yeah, no, I think you're right, Cam.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of the Everything Podcast.
All right. Anything else? Nope. Looks like we got nothing there. Cool. Will. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of the Everything Podcast. We're gonna try to do some more live episodes because we haven't done it in a while, and it's always really fun talking to chat. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the Everything Podcast, and more of our own new little series that we have going on. Only movie show, some more of that will be coming out soon. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.